What's going on, everyone? Welcome to another episode of the Brenda podcast. Today, as probably the last three episodes, I'm being a guest on my own show. And my beautiful wife has some questions about a couple topics that pretty much applies to any industry. I know the last three long form episodes, we kind of referred to the beauty industry, um, more specifically the eyelash industry, eyelash trainers, techs, stylists, but absolutely all the topics that we talked about do apply to any kind of business that has a service based type of business, not a e-com like product based. So take it on.
Brando, hey, let me tell you the truth. It's not about who you know, but who knows you. Brando, it's your story. You can rewrite it if you so choose. It's your life. You decide those moves. Brando, you want to talk about getting the bag? He built a seven-figure brand from scratch. Brando, it's the Brando podcast, but you already know. Enough talking, bro. Let's start the show. Brando.
Hi, babe.
Hello.
And thank you for having me again.
Well, you're kind of having me as a guest now, so
We both having us. Now, so guys, the model that we usually do when I do the in-person trainings, my husband usually comes in person and you talk all about marketing, all about how to scale your business, how to grow as a lash artist, because we talk more about the lash industry. And I realized something that a lot of my students, I want to say 90% of my students, and probably 90% of the people, they don't even heard about ChatGPT. And that was very interesting.
well, they kind of heard at least about the AI and all that,
Right,
but
right.
not in the business context.
And I remember last time when you were talking about, I had a student that she was in the cosmetology, she was doing hair in the salon. And you started to explain a lot about how to use ChatGPT, how to do this. You can even have a photo shooting. You can have this. And she was like so surprised that, oh my God, that's so much easier. And then we started to talk more. So I want you to explain a little bit more how to use ChatGPT, AI, and for someone, the first question will be for someone that never used ChatGPT, never used any of this, what would you suggest? What's your number one trick, tips? What would you tell them? Because I know ChatGPT right now because I use it almost not every day, every single hour, to be honest.
And you
What
and you
would you?
barely use it actually, because you only use it for posts,
Yes, I only use it for
for the
posts.
for the caption, the hashtags
Yes,
and whatnot.
but that's my question. How would you describe and how would you suggest people that they never used this before? Because ChatGPT can be very advanced, right? And it's a very large when it comes to like anything, beauty, like business, like any. So what would you recommend for people that they never use? How do they start? Where to start?
No, it's a great question, and I guess at first is if someone has never used it before, the easiest way to get started is think about what would they search on Google or on YouTube. So let's say it's you're trying to learn a new skill, or I've noticed a lot of your clients and students, well, students in this
Students.
case, were kind of afraid of the content creation part, meaning they're afraid to be in front of the camera, they're afraid of recording reels and whatnot. So I feel like that would be a great first step because, like you said, it's very advanced. Like we can
Oh,
talk, and we actually this is the first episode of a long series that's going to come
and
up
I
on
and
this
I have
podcast.
the expert here,
No, I'm
ChatGPT.
actually not
Oh,
even. I'm not
you
an
are.
expert. I'm not an expert, at least yet. I do use it every day in a variety of different
Business.
industries and in a a lot of different ways that I didn't even know that it was possible to do in terms of like reports. You can even plug numbers.
Oh my God.
But don't even
Right. That's why
don't
I
get me
said, 'cause
started.
I know you know a lot.
Don't get me started
And like
on
we
all of
have
that.
this conversation every day. My husband is like, Cosmina, you cannot believe what I found out today. You can use this. That's why I'm saying be very simple for people at the beginning.
No, so at first, assuming that someone has never used it before, is think of it at least to get your feet wet and get familiar with the
How-
power
Yeah.
and the quickness of the response, because it does matter a lot. The prompt meaning
Huge.
what do you tell it, what's the question that you're asking the AI, but then the way you ask the question is the way that it responds. One thing, and I've this is just a quick going off topic, but I've seen, or I've heard this on a podcast. Someone asked, "Do I have to always be polite when I ask the question? It's a goddamn AI. It doesn't have feelings. Just fucking ask the question and that's it. It doesn't it doesn't care. Now it remembers how you talk to the AI and the way that you ask the question, and it has a voice component too.
Yeah. And that's
It's great
huge.
you want to learn a new language, you can easily start communicating the question. You can even have ChatGPT interview you.
I know.
I want to do one of these podcast episodes by ChatGPT interviewing me about, because I've seen this on a YouTube video recently. I can't remember exactly.
So
It's
really,
crazy. Yeah, like you have a conversation. Right now, it still sounds like you can tell it's a robot
Yeah.
that's asking questions. But going back to because again, to your question, because I can go on and off topic
and
on this.
to not forget this, I think that actually even help for people that they want to start recording videos and stuff like that, to just be like you and the talking, right? And it helps you to be more in the communication, right?
Oh, 1000%. And I know you'll have some questions about get comfortable on camera and whatnot a little bit later in the episode. But going back to your question, the easiest way to just get familiar, think about what are the questions that you search on Google. So let's say you want to start producing content, you want to start a podcast, let's say, right? And you don't know what to talk about. You don't know what the topics to mention on the show. You don't know what you should call your podcast. The problems that people have, the potential listeners. Who are the potential listeners? Creating an avatar. You literally ask ChatGPT, and again, I don't want to go too advanced right from this episode, because it's going to be a series of a lot of episodes that will touch on. This is more like an overview. So every time, and this is one topic that I mentioned at the most recent event about ChatGPT. We had a 2-hour workshop here in Boston for people that don't know what I'm talking about. So every time when you don't know how to ask the question, you just use this quick trick. You ask me, like, what's a trick? You start the prompt with, because again, in theory, if you ask a vanilla prompt, if you ask a vanilla question, it's going to give you a vanilla answer, right? If you just ask simply, I want to create content about lash extensions.
That's what I
What should I talk? What should I talk about? Or give me 10 straight off the bat. Give me 10 topics that I can create Instagram reels about.
Yeah.
Period. Enter. It's gonna give you the most basic answer because you asked a really basic question. You gave it a basic prompt. But if you explain step by step, and again, it's individual prompts, because you know every time when you, and now you can have folders, now you have settings that you can go back into the account itself. So for example, me, because I'm involved in a lot of different industries, I had to specifically tell AI, or ChatGPT in this case. My name is, and
Yeah.
I'm involved as a partner in this kind of businesses, local moving and storage, a partner with you in the lash extension course and the
Right.
lash academy and the lash salon and whatnot. So I had to make a quick parenthesis in there and say, um, do not take any of the customer avatars of these individual businesses, do not mix them together when I ask separate questions,
Yeah.
because it's important to separate that. In my case, for someone that it's only involved in, let's say, the salon industry,
Like myself.
yeah, like the beauty industry, even if you add another, let's say now you do lashes, but let's say in the future you do Botox or you do some type of,
Different service.
yeah, it's still under the same umbrella,
But you
right?
still
So you
have
want,
to address to
yeah,
one.
you wanna address that in there and make sure you list it in the settings.
One. Yeah.
But then I have it, my account, it's split in folders with the name of the business. And I have, just because I'm a visual person and I understand much better if I have a visual, I have an emoji. Let's say I have for my personal like
so
body
you
optimization.
remember what's
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
I have like if I have questions about jiu-jitsu, for example, I
Yeah.
have a gi as
Okay.
a emoji. For the gym,
But
the same.
that's very interesting for me too. Now, do you go and click on each
Folder. Yeah, I keep
folder, and then from there you start talking?
exactly because
Oh,
so
I
you
have everything in once.
just
Like
one
I,
conversation for
yeah,
all of. Now, it's not necessarily a bad thing
because it's
if
all
all
about
the
lashes.
yes and no. Well, it is, but let's say most of the questions are about creating captions for Instagram,
Yeah.
and then all of a sudden you ask, how can you get a better deal with your lash product manufacturer in China?
so
That should be a
different.
separate question within the same folder,
Yeah. Oh, I
right?
didn't
Lash
know that.
products. Yeah, you have a folder with lash products, and in there you have separate conversations. And within each, so for example, in the content creation, the folder for me, I have my podcast, it's one conversation, my YouTube, it's one conversation,
Oh,
Instagram because it's
wow.
short form,
That's
Instagram, TikTok, it's in the same. But then I have a folder that's about automation, meaning high level, go high level the app, workflows in there, email automation, things like that. I do not mix them together. And here's why, because you can have settings and you can give it instructions at the conversation level. Then you give it different instructions at the folder level.
Oh,
So if I,
everything that you talked and everything that you have, it's saved, right?
yes,
So you can go back if, like, let's say in a week or 2 weeks, I want to use some sort of something that
yeah,
I asked ChatGPT 2 weeks ago. Can I go
exactly.
back and
Yeah,
find
you go.
that from?
Well, in your case, because you have everything in one conversation, he's going to like he remembers all the questions that you asked in there, unless
Ooh.
unless you tell it in the prompt, disregard everything that we talked so far and start from scratch. But at that point, it doesn't make sense. It's better to just start off a new conversation if you have questions about a, I don't know, like just something else. Let's say you want a new camera. There's no point to keep it
Wow,
within the same, right?
That's interesting. And plus, that the reason that you can do folders, I think that's so smart.
Well, I mean, you can imagine. In
Wow.
my case, I would
Like
lose
you
my
can
mind.
do
I would lose
lash
my mind.
trainings, lash products, content for beginners, lash artists, YouTube.
Exactly.
Wow.
I would even be happier if it would be allowing you to do subfolders, because you can have content creation as a or marketing as a main folder, and then
inside.
subfolder
Wow.
content creation, ads, videos.
Can you do that or not?
Right now, there's no subfolders
Oh,
allowed,
yeah,
but I'm assuming
Soon.
it's coming. And
Wow.
but the main reason is, so here's what I did for the folder. When I did you recorded the webinar, what, 2 weeks ago or something like that, the new one for the course.
For the course, yeah.
So I have one folder named email automation, and that one, even though there are multiple industries and multiple businesses that have to do with email automation, my goal when I write emails, well, in this case, if ChatGPT writes the email, or at least the first draft, right? The goal is, depending what type of emails, like in this case, is I want to make sure that people that receive the emails, they open the email and they click inside in one of the links. So the goal is the same, regardless what type of business, what industry, if it's a client, a consulting client of mine, if it's one of the businesses, right? It doesn't matter. It's still relevant to stay inside. So what I did is, at this folder level, I added a lot of PDFs and books that I like, books from Russell Brunson. I uploaded a webinar. No, that one it's in the webinar folder. In the email one, I can't remember exactly the author. I have 2 books. One, it's email marketing that doesn't suck, and then the other one is writing storytelling emails. So I uploaded the entire book as a PDF in there to gather information about how I want the story to be written in the emails. And then when I ask questions, I refer to that if I want to. So it's important to separate them.
And have,
because if every time you start by default, if you don't click in the conversation, it's gonna start a new conversation every time.
but do you have to save at some point? Or
No, it auto saves. But let's say you restart your laptop,
Yeah.
right? Or you update the app. If you click on ChatGPT, it's not gonna open up the last conversation. It's gonna open up a new one.
Yeah, but you have everything's.
Yes, it's auto saved, but you do have to click inside of the conversation that you want to continue if the topic is still relevant, right?
Nice. Yeah.
So it's we kind of went a little bit off topic, but it's important for someone that's brand new and is just getting familiar with this information to kind of get an idea, like, oh, okay. So you can write emails, you can write captions, you can write the words, or at least to give you the ideas that you want on the thumbnails if it's a video. It literally generates images. It can do the entire thumbnail for you. The anime thumbnail for your YouTube video.
I even asked you.
Yeah, you asked me who did
I
that.
said, oh my god,
And it was
it was made with like kind of my picture, right?
Yeah, so I uploaded your picture and I said,
That was.
I gave it a longer prompt. So again, if someone doesn't know how to write the prompt, you just start the prompt with rewrite this prompt in a more, and then of course, depending what's the type of action that you want, if it's, or the tone, if it's a professional tone, if it's friendly, if it's flirty, if it's whatever, you can tell it, rewrite this prompt in a better way that I did and then you tell it as a ChatGPT engineer or as a ChatGPT prompt engineer. So who's the best person in the world? Who's the best role in the world? Who has the best job description to write the prompt? A fucking ChatGPT engineer, the person that invented the prompting method, right? So then that's it. You write as basic as a prompt that you can do, and then watch how ChatGPT rewrites it, and it explains why. It starts with a quick little thing that you can delete after, and then you just and now I don't know if it does it for everybody or how many people are actually using this trick. In my case, every time now when I do that, it actually, like at the end of the rewriting process, it asks me, do you want me to run this prompt? Why? Because it gets smarter and smarter by the way that I communicate with it. And it now knows, oh, so he tells me to rewrite this prompt, and then he just copies and pastes the prompt back. So let's save time. And now he knows, okay, I'm gonna actually ask him, do you want me to run the prompt and go with it? And if you want to take it a step further, at the end of the prompt, you can ask, or you can also tell it, before you give me an answer, if you feel it's crucial, or if you feel it's very important, or you will have a high impact in the response, ask me 2 to 3 questions that you feel are really necessary for this. So now what the AI is gonna do is gonna rewrite the prompt and end it with 3 questions if it makes sense. So then you ask, because typically in my case, if the prompt is about marketing, typically the questions are who's the ideal buyer for this, if it's a buying question, or if it's some type of viewer, who's the ideal viewer of this video, right? So again, you don't know how to write the prompt, you just start with rewrite this prompt as a ChatGPT engineer would, and then you write whatever basic vanilla prompt that you want, and you end it with ask me 2 to 3 questions if you feel it will have a high impact in the response of this prompt, and watch the magic happens.
Like, I really want to say I do use this every single day, and it saved so much time, especially when I do my posts on Instagram, YouTube, captions.
Have you tried this thing with rewrite the prompt?
I think I did a couple times, and every time you rewrite, it comes better and better. And another thing that I wanted to mention.
Before, keep your idea. I just want to make sure I mention this before I forget. It's important to always give it a role, like a job description for the whole prompting process. Why? Because if not,
doesn't know who to address you or what.
No, he doesn't know from what perspective to write the prompt, to give you the answer.
Yeah.
So that's why I always told you, when you write caption, or when you do a prompt to give you captions for Instagram or whatever, it's important to tell it, act as a world-class social media marketing agency, or if it's about a sales post, act as a mix of a world-class copywriting agency and social media agency, helping experts with X, Y, and Z, and then you give it what you want to achieve.
Yeah, what I was about to say. Oh, so when I create my posts, for example, on Instagram, and I do the captions and everything with ChatGPT, and then I'm like, okay, but now I need a thumbnail for my Instagram feed. I go back and I ask, like, okay, based on this type of questions and this type of video, can you give me like 5 different type of thumbnails
that I
can use and be attractive and to look boom, 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 and then you choose. So easy.
Here's another trick for you in this case. Keep the idea that you wanted to ask. Take a screenshot of 3 of the most
videos
that went viral.
Viral.
Now, you know better if you change the thumbnail or not. Ideally, you haven't changed the thumbnail at all. So you take the screenshot of the thumbnail that was always there when the video went viral. And now you tell ChatGPT, by the way, these 3 thumbnails had this amount of views, whatever. Inspect the thumbnails truly, and create another 5 to 10 variations, but with this topic.
Yeah.
And explain me, why do you think they went viral, or why do you think they had this many more views compared to the rest of my videos?
Right.
And it would also explain to you why.
So really the answer is you have to be very careful the way you ask.
Oh, 100%.
And you have to go, like you said, I realized that you have to go deep. You have to really go and explain, okay, inspect this and this and this, and then come with a new version for this. And wow, it takes a little time.
But at first, because if you keep it, again, if you organize your projects properly,
remember,
it always remembers what you asked it before, and how you communicate with it all the time. And a lot of times I realize that ChatGPT might rewrite a prompt in such a good way that I might copy some of the stuff that he said, and I go back in the settings and I change the settings with what I told them a month or 2 months ago of how to keep this conversation and how's the tone. And then another thing that I did is, especially for someone, I know initially we started the conversation with a beginner. So a beginner might not have content to give ChatGPT. You can literally upload a couple shorts, the whole file, or you just send it the link to the video. But ideally, you want to upload. I've noticed every time when I upload the actual file of the reel, and I tell it, watch this video multiple times and remember the tone of my voice, remember the way that I speak. And every time moving forward, when I ask you to create captions, write the caption in a way to match the tone of my voice and to match the way that I speak. Because you don't want to write a caption that everybody that reads it, they realize, oh crap, this is not you. You never talk like this. You don't use this type of words.
Oh my God. So you can copy the link from your old video, ask ChatGPT to inspect.
Do a couple more, not just one.
He's gonna inspect, or she, whatever. He's
gonna listen and watch the video.
The video?
Yeah.
No. Wow.
But it's better, that's what I said, it's better to actually download the entire video. It doesn't matter.
I thought you just meant to take a screenshot of the...
Well, the screenshot is gonna just that's for the thumbnail.
Wow.
That's one thing. But then in the settings of the account, especially because you use it a lot, mostly for captions and the descriptions of the videos and whatnot, it's important to keep all the captions, like the written word. I mean, think about this. If someone would transcribe your video, does it sound like you?
Wow.
Of course, when you transcribe it, it's transcribed, so it's word for word of what he said. But then you give it to ChatGPT, of course he's going to write it in a lot more like professional way. But then if it doesn't sound like you, it's a disconnect.
Wow. And that helps a lot.
It's
I
crazy.
didn't know this.
Yeah, you can go to your Instagram account or TikTok, you download the entire file, and you can upload 3 videos that you feel are the best representation of the way that you communicate.
Wow. So video. You can upload links, you can upload pictures, and
videos too, the actual file. Or you can just record the voice. The more you talk to it
that was
every day.
Another question that I want to ask. Now it's even more advanced because you can talk. You don't have to write.
Yeah. One thing, and this is a conversation that I had with someone that came to the workshop a couple of weeks ago. He said he never writes anymore. He always is just a voice prompt. And I asked him, do you ever, because if you don't ask ChatGPT to transcribe the voice prompt, then if you want to go back and see what you asked, you see only a wave of the sound
because you didn't write.
You didn't write, so you don't know what you asked. So it's just a quick.
It's easier because you don't have to write, but at the same time, it's not safe.
No. So it saves it in the memory of the account. But if you personally want to go back, because you remember, I asked a similar question, but then you don't know how do you search? Because you can search you have a search bar. You search for a keyword. No, even in all the conversations, it's a search bar. So you asked. Now, in my case, let's say, so I have a folder about productivity. This week, I gave ChatGPT a couple YouTube videos and a couple templates that I wanted to recreate, but I wanted to recreate in Apple Notes. And Apple has kind of a different way. It doesn't allow ChatGPT to go directly to create it. So, but it found a way to make it work. I just had to do some manual stuff on my own. And that's another thing that you probably are not familiar with. You can actually do tasks for you it can send you reminders. So you can tell ChatGPT, remind me every night at 9 p.m. to review the previous day or the day that just passed, so I can look at my schedule and see what tasks I was able to finish and what. So, and on top of that, you can put it in your calendar. You can
And I
access
was
your
gonna send you the reminder or something.
notification in
ChatGPT.
ChatGPT. Yeah, it's gonna pop on the screen. Now, if you have notifications off, that's what I
It's
tell
so
it.
smart.
I said, make sure you send me an email because I have notifications off, and I get an email.
Wow. You see, it saves you a lot of
You-
time. In
It's a virtual assistant that never calls off. It never it never gets sick. It doesn't ask for a promotion.
And
It
the answer
doesn't.
is like so quick. So
With tasks, it's a little bit different. So, for example, the one that I gave it, it's a long. I'll show you
Yeah.
later. It was a long one.
or pictures. I realized that when you
Yeah, it takes.
It
Well,
takes a
even
little
with
bit.
pictures, actually, it doesn't take that long because I remember when I did a quick redesign of the backyard. I uploaded the backyard photo. I told it, act like a world class outdoor design company and landscaping company
Wow.
from Massachusetts because it's important. Like Mass, it's one type of design. You go to Florida, it's a whole different design. You go to Europe, it's a whole different design, right? So, and then I said, keep it as realistic as possible, but these are the main items that I want in the design. And I said, I want a cold plunge, I want a boxing bag, I want a sauna, a hot tub, and a little pool, and a little area for dogs to play, for my dog to play. And you saw the pictures.
So you can basically use it for your daily life, not only business, not only like
You've noticed even with the calories and the recipes.
The
The
gave
most
me like the whole plan for the whole week. Remember? I said I want to go on a very low this, I want to lose
low
like
calorie
this much
diet.
in
Yeah.
and then the whole, and even the food and the ingredients and everything, it was like very complex, very nice.
No, and then remember that night with the fridge, with the dinner, because we had no idea what to cook. Like quickly, I opened the door of the fridge, just took a screenshot, and I said, I want ChatGPT act like a personal chef that works with bodybuilders and athletes, and give me 3 ideas of a quick dinner that doesn't require using the oven,
To cook.
and that we can use only the items that are in this photo, which was a photo in the fridge. And on top of that, you can break down the macronutrients of your food and all your dieting.
Wow.
And not just that, even this is
A lot
it's just
of
the
people
beginning.
are like, oh, I think this is too much. It's a little scary. It's a little too.
It's a little late to think that you're scary about it because it's here already. It's been here for a little bit now, and it only gets smarter and smarter.
Right.
And
And I
you
know
either
it's-
use it or you are going to be left behind.
And it saves you a lot of time. It's not even like thinking about you're scared of using it or not. It's just it gives you so much that
Are you kidding me? I was one
you
day.
go on Google and you will never find things like that. You have to search and ask more and ask more.
So it's important for people to understand how does it get the information. So it surfaces the web. So it does get the information from Bing, from Google, from YouTube, from all the other
Altogether.
links. It has this power of it would take you probably a couple days.
Right.
But I mean, you kidding me? The other day, my dad sends me a couple jokes in Romanian, and I'm like, I mean, I lost my, like, I don't have, I haven't practiced in a long time, because me and him, we used to always have jokes and kind of almost compete with each other, and I just couldn't have the brain. I was very tired. And I went to ChatGPT and I said, ChatGPT, my dad gave me these 3 jokes. We have to beat him, and I need back 3 more hilarious jokes make sure you give it to me in Romanian.
In Romanian.
Yeah.
Ooh.
And he sends back, and then I said something along the lines of, and make sure it fits the Romanian culture, not
Wow.
just
So it doesn't matter if you talked in like different languages.
no, you can even practice. You have this
Oh.
event coming up in Spanish in Mexico, and I
Yeah.
said to you, why you don't start practicing Spanish with ChatGPT?
ChatGPT.
It's going to
Wow.
be a game changer.
And it's gonna help a lot. So now, something else came in my mind. I know there are two type of versions, right? There is a free one.
The paid and the free.
So what's the difference between both?
So with the free
Obviously,
version,
it's more advanced, the second one, or what's
not
the
really.
difference?
No, it's with the free version, you can do what 90% of the people that pay for it do. The main difference is the waiting time. So if you want to create photos,
Oh,
it's
really?
gonna take a little bit longer. Not a crazy amount. It all depends on how many people are using it at
In
that
the same
moment
time?
for image creation,
Got it.
for whatever
Yeah.
you're asking it to do. But for like regular stuff, that's like if you just use it for captions and stuff like
The
that,
regular.
it doesn't even
I
make sense
have
to
the
me.
regular one, and I use it for like everything.
Yeah.
Even with pictures.
Yes,
Like,
exactly. So
yeah.
it's the paid version. So, for example, in my case, for creating tasks, so the really complex. So I gave it. It had to create, I think, like 100 Apple notes,
Wow.
and it had to put them all in a zip folder and make all kind of changes that I asked it to do and all that. And that one, even with the paid version, took I think like 3 hours. But it said, "I'm working in the background. Feel free to continue your
3
questions."
hours to give you an answer?
No. He gave me the answer, but then he actually created the files for me. So think about you having to go and copy the captions and actually put them into a software and then create PDFs from there.
Oh.
So for me, that's like it actually created the Apple Notes. It's like a journal type of productivity base. So I don't want to use Notion because I feel like it's too complex for what I need it for. But then I saw this YouTube video and I got hooked on it. And I realized, oh wow, I'm actually using this with Google Sheets. What if I combine these two? But I'm like, of course, it's gonna take me like 2 weeks to do this, maybe more. Let me ask ChatGPT, and boom. And first, the folder came with a couple errors. I showed it the errors. It fixed it right away. So altogether, I think it took probably maybe less than 3 hours.
Oh,
But
okay.
it created over 100 files. He generated the shortcuts for me. Then he gave me a step-by-step process of how to install it on my iPhone, how to install it on the Mac, how all that stuff. So it's if we go back to your initial question, how someone that's a beginner can use it.
Start.
At first, if you have absolutely no idea what to use it for, just tell ChatGPT, "Hey ChatGPT, my name is. I'm 36 years old. I'm a female. I'm a male. I'm whatever. I'm working as a whatever job description is. Give me the top 10 to 20 ways that I can use ChatGPT for my business and for my life, period, to save more time and make more money." Right? Like ideally, that's what everybody wants.
What you want?
Ask me 3 to 5 questions that you feel are necessary to understand about me and my business, and then boom, watch the magic happen. If you don't know what to use ChatGPT for, ask it what to use it for. It's gonna tell you what to use it for.
And then from there, you keep going.
You take one at a time,
Yeah.
and you'll be just blown away by the capabilities and
How easy and quick.
I can't
smart.
wait. Yeah, like next week we're gonna travel to Romania. I can't wait to show it to my dad and start because
He's gonna use it every
he's gonna
day
use
after.
it to get jokes and then to talk to him all the time. I can't wait to hear
And I remember something else. Remember a couple months ago probably, I had a student. She was already into the beauty industry doing aesthetic.
Mm-hmm.
And she was like, Marian, but how I'm gonna change my bio to be more professional? And literally, Marian, my husband, took a screenshot of her bio. He went into ChatGPT and you
Uploaded.
ask, like, in a professional,
She wanted something to feel luxury.
and that she speaks two language. It was
English and Spanish. Yeah.
And you upload the picture, and then he gave you like everything, but very nice, exactly like her style. Remember?
And you can always ask, give me, depends, in a bio, when you want a bio, give me 5 to 10 options, different variations. One funny, one professional, one luxurious, one whatever.
And even created in that time created her name, her logo, and that logo now she opened the salon.
Really?
So
that's crazy.
Really,
You do a rebrand. You take a screenshot of a couple, like your logo, maybe what's up on your products and whatever, and you tell it to you need help rebranding. Again, you tell it, act like a world-class branding agency. I need help with a rebrand. These are my favorite colors, and then he's gonna ask you, do you want also your logo on clothes? Do you want your...
And also, if you're, let's say, beginner lash artist, right, and you don't know what name to choose, I have this question all the time. Cosmina, but what you should think? My husband was like, go on ChatGPT, explain that you are at the beginning, I'm trying to do this and this and this, and give me 10 different type of names, and maybe from there you pick.
But again, it's important to tell it, make sure these names are not used, at least in the state that you're launching your business. And I want it to sound, so for example, especially beginners that have no videos, maybe no blog articles, no whatever, pick 5 people that you really resonate with, get the links of your videos, and tell ChatGPT, inspect these lash artists, inspect these creators, inspect these YouTubers. I want it to sound like them. I want my brand tone of voice to be a mix of them. Boom. Right? Because you have, like, at first, you might really struggle with this, like, oh, how do I, like, how the logo should look like, whatever. You can even tell, I want the logos to be minimalistic. I want the logos to be luxurious. I want the
understand.
I want the logos to feel like it tells a story, whatever, right? So again, the more input you give it, the better the output that you're gonna see.
Basically, you have to have a conversation with.
Exactly.
It gives you something, and then you ask more, and then more and more. Yeah, I think that's amazing.
It's a good way to put it, but also the more info you give it right at the beginning of the prompt, the better, because again, it remembers all the questions that you asked from the first time that you start communicating. And it's at least that's what I've noticed. It acts like, for example, especially when it comes to image creation, if I go to an older conversation that I had about redesigning the backyard, and even though I told it a few times, forget what we talked so far, but keep it within the same topic, it kind of still kept the style of the redesign. It kind of still kept, and there were some items in there that I didn't like. So, again, the better you ask right from the beginning. Or another trick that I've noticed, if you realize you mess up something in the conversation, 3, 4, 5, 6 conversations down, it's better to almost go back to the second or the third conversation and edit instead of continuing that.
Oh, okay. So it's
so you edit that question. Now it's going to change the answer, and you continue from that point on. So let's say you have 10 like mini questions that you ask, mini prompts, and you realize from the fourth one on, you kind of messed up and you asked the wrong way. Instead of keep asking now and try to fix it, go back to the fourth one and edit how you asked, and it's gonna be a much better kind of flow
Response.
moving forward. And never be afraid to go into the settings. If when you start a new conversation, you have a little box at the beginning that says instructions. Give it as many instructions. That's not a
Okay,
prompt.
so
That's just the instructions for the entire conversation
to
that you plan
understand.
to have.
Uh-huh.
And that's going to make a little bit of a difference, especially, let's say in your case, you want your captions from this point on to sound a lot more like the way you talk in a video or in a podcast episode. It's better to upload those files or those videos in the instructions at the instructions level of the conversation level, right? And then you start give it even more. Like I don't know, I think it's like 5,000 characters that you can write in there, so it's a good amount. Instead of trying to like keep actually more and more mini prompts. I feel like every time when I do that, the whole output
you a better-
changes. Yeah, it changes in a good way.
Well, I already learn a lot too. Even though I have the expert right next to me every day.
I
But
feel,
I feel like every day it's something different, something new. I learn something new. But like now, I learn a lot. Organizing the folders, I'm gonna do that today. I didn't.
oh yeah, that one it was a huge. I talked about it at the
And I
workshop.
have the prompt because you sent me the prompt, but I think
It's
you
not going to
said-
organize the prompts for you. I wish.
But
I would.
I think you said something very, very important, and I'm gonna reorganize everything today. Because, first of all, it's gonna give you a better answer. Second, you don't have to keep going and rewrite and ask the same, because you already have saved. So you already recognize what you're gonna do, what you're gonna ask, like, because
Yes, but like you should have one for captions only. So I feel like you should have one for captions for short form, like Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, all the others, and keep YouTube separate because YouTube descriptions
It's
are a
more-
lot different. You need the affiliate links from Amazon and whatnot. Yeah, so that's a little different. But other than that, the captions you should have a folder for because you realize you use that for
all the time. Yeah. Well, thank you so much
100%.
for
So this is
answering everything, and
this is just the first episode of the. I can say now how many episodes we're gonna keep in this series, but it's gonna be a long series
this
of.
is just the starting of this.
We'll probably keep it, I guess, every month with a topic. So this month, the first episode was more of a overview type of thing, like the settings and how to get started and whatnot. And based on the response and what people kind of comment and ask about, we'll kind of adjust it moving
Based
forward.
on that, yeah.
But yeah, you had some really great questions and some great.
And I think a lot of people are very, very happy with all the answers.
Well, let's see.
Yeah.
It's going live pretty soon, so we'll get some feedback and then we'll go from there. So thanks for all the questions, guys. Don't forget, if you want to support the show, the best thing that you can do is just leave a 5-star review on Apple. It's also great if you don't use an Apple device. But I appreciate all the love and support that we've been getting lately. Thanks a lot for the questions.
Thank you.
And we'll catch you guys in the next one next week. Peace.
Brand up.